and I stumbled I stumbled into hard money lending, and I started on Facebook just to see what people needed. A guy by the name of Alex Luboff actually reached out to me on social media years ago and said, "Hey, who are you and what are you doing and why is everybody reaching out to you?" And my response was, "I don't know who I am and I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I need help."
Okay.
And
So welcome to another episode of the In Your Home podcast.
So
I don't. This is
Market. Tony B is happy to
would have to be Power Play Prime.
so how many games do you
Grew up in Monmouth County, Central Jersey, my whole life.
Now in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis.
Well, I love being an artist, man, because I want to make stories and
Been based here in Philly for about 30 plus years now.
The commercial market is in good shape.
No, I need to be in control of everything. I'm a control freak.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the In Your Home podcast. We have a local guest today, and I'm going to let him introduce himself now.
hey everyone, I'm Al Domenico with Kings of Capital. I am your local and nationwide hard money lender, catered to bridge loans and DSCR financing.
I guess the first question is, could you explain to people who don't know what it is, what exactly is a hard money lender?
Yep. Hard money lender is pretty much, we're not bank backed, so we get all our money through hedge funds.
Okay.
And simple stuff is like no tax returns or W-2s needed for any of our financing, which you would have to provide for. And right now, our guidelines are we are funding up to 95% of purchase prices and 100% of renovation, depending on the borrower's experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then a DSCR financing is obviously, we go off the market depending on what rates are looking at. But right now, I've been seeing a lot of stuff in the mid sevens to low eights on DSCR financing, depending on pretty much the area and the credit. And we do go up to 80% LTV on that stuff. So a little bit different than a bank, what we do, a little bit quicker and faster when it comes to closing deals, and pretty much less of a headache.
Mm-hmm.
I joke with people, banks want your ex-girlfriend's social security number in order to get approved. A little bit more simple on the underwriting part.
So the main thing is, at least what I've experienced, the contractor that comes in to give an estimate of how much work it's gonna take. Is that?
Yeah. Some of my investors are licensed GCs as well, but some do hire somebody.
Okay.
I would say standard turnaround time for a deal is typically 30 days. Get the contract, get the scope of work in hand, get the appraiser out there to appraise the property. Those appraisals do as is value and ARV value appraisals as well, just to make sure that the numbers make sense. And then from there, we're collecting our docs from the borrower and typically need about anywhere between 4 to 5 days to underwrite it to go to closing.
So is it typically people buying the house to flip it?
Correct. Yes. So all our properties, all our deals that we do, I should say, are all for investment use only. So the borrower has to purchase the property in an LLC, and they have to either flip it or keep it as a rental.
Okay.
So no secondary homes, nothing like that.
Okay. And do you just do it in Philadelphia?
No, I'm actually nationwide. So I do have clients that like to buy in other states, which is pretty cool. But I would say the majority of our business is in Philadelphia, obviously, Philly, South Jersey, Delaware, but we do a lot actually down in Florida.
Okay.
And ironically and shockingly, my first deal that I've ever closed happened to be in Indianapolis, which is a fun fact, is the second most visited city in the country besides Vegas.
Really?
Indianapolis.
For what reason?
I guess the Indy 500. There's some colleges out there, pro teams.
Okay.
But I think race car drive, NASCAR is very big out there.
Okay. Have you ever been there?
No.
I think I drove through it, or through Indiana. Never actually. stop there. So how did you get a deal in Indiana?
Social media. It's a funny story. I started not when I started doing this, I was just getting rid of like went on my friends group and just started deleting people that I didn't talk to when I started um just friending people in the real estate space. And I got into all these different real estate investing groups on that they have provide. And I was just getting my name out there. And some guy reached out to me from Indianapolis. He said, I'm an investor. I'm looking for funding for my next flip, and was able to get him under contract. And that was my first two deals, I should say, because we did another one with him.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this?
Coming up to, I think this summer would be 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a 9 to 5 guy. I hated it.
Uh-huh.
I hated taking the subway to work every morning. For me, I wanted to be able to have the freedom to be able to do and go wherever I wanted. And I noticed that a lot of people that had that flexibility were all in real estate. So I wanted to get in real estate, and then I wanted to find a way to get into real estate without taking any type of special courses or getting any special license to do so. And I stumbled I stumbled into hard money lending, and I started on Facebook just to see what people needed. A guy by the name of Alex Luboff actually reached out to me on social media years ago and said, "Hey, who are you and what are you doing and why is everybody reaching out to you?" And my response was, "I don't know who I am and I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I need help."
Okay.
And he actually referred me to his best friend, is Bill Lodge, who's now my partner with Kings of Capital. He started this company, and I met him for dinner to one night, and I told him my goals and where I saw myself and what I wanted to do. And next thing you know, he says, "Send me whatever leads that you have, and we'll kind of go from there." And it's funny, I didn't know anything about real estate.
Uh-huh.
You could have told me what's a title agent do, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
You know, the only real estate transaction I ever had was buying my own home, and my brother was my realtor, and he kind of just guided me through everything and took over everything. So I had nothing to do with it. I just went in there, signed
Do
everything,
what
and
you had.
left.
Yeah.
And but I learned from Bill. I learned a lot from Bill, and he after 2 years, COVID hit, so that's when I lost my full time job, and I really just took this full time, working from home, and being able to do that was awesome. And that was it. I just learned a lot from him. I learned the game. I learned the sales part of it. I learned pretty much everything about real estate,
Mm-hmm.
and it just took off running. And I just kept with the social media, the social media on Facebook and Instagram, and now I do a lot on Zillow and all those other websites just to get my name out there, meet new people, make some phone calls.
Do you deal with like getting the funds from the particular
I don't.
investor?
I
You
don't.
do the
That's Bill's part.
finding the client.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the VP of business development, so my job is to just find new ways to generate business and get clientele in. We do have 4 awesome reps under us right now, and one is a Spanish speaking rep, which is super helpful. And we're just trying to grow this every year.
Mm-hmm. I just started I took Spanish like in high school, forgot almost everything. And I've gone to a couple countries recently, like where they speak Spanish, and now I'm like obsessed with learning
Yeah,
Spanish because there's so much business in Philly.
yeah, it's huge.
There's a couple like real estate companies in Philly, and they just dominate the market because they speak Spanish and no one else does.
Yeah, it's funny that, and I feel like people are comfortable with like nationalities are comfortable with working with the same people in their nationality, which
Yeah.
is helpful. And that's why a rep, his name is Lucas, he does a really good job with it. And I've lost deals because of that. And a realtor would call me and say, you know, "Do you speak Spanish? I have somebody who buys X amount of properties a year, and they're using cash, and they're looking to leverage their liquidity to buy more." And I was like, "No, unfortunately, I don't." So that's cool. We got a new kid down in Tennessee who's doing really well. Ironically, he's getting all business from Philly area, which is kind of funny to see. And then we have another guy, and we have a girl who she started about a year ago. She's crushing it. and we're just every year we're just trying to bring on new people and try to scale our business.
Are they all from like different parts of the country, or are they
No,
or just
most
that
of them
one?
are local. Just the
Yeah.
one guy down in Tennessee right now.
Yeah, I would get people. I still get people like they call me speaking fluent English, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Do you speak Spanish?"
yeah.
And I'm getting a little better. I'm like, I can have
There's,
a little conversation,
yep.
but usually I was like, no, and then they just hang up and go somewhere.
I know,
Else.
I know. It sucks,
Yeah.
but it's nice to have that. I mean, especially Philly. There's so many different nationalities around here. Um, we recently got a lead who's someone who asked me if I spoke Russian, and I was like, nope, I do not. But let me try to find somebody
Yeah,
who wants to come jump on board and start bringing us Russian business in.
yeah. There's definitely a big population of that too.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, absolutely.
So where are you from?
So I'm born and raised right by the stadium area. I currently
Okay.
live in Georgia State. So I'm your typical South Philly. Moved 2 blocks from my parents, which my mom was upset about because I moved too far away. And but growing up going to Flyers, Eagles, Phillies, Sixers games. Went to St. John Newman,
Hmm.
played baseball there. Then went to Gwinnett Mercy, which was about an hour and a half away, and also played baseball in college too as well.
Like I lived near Gwinnett Mercy for most of my life.
Oh wow,
Like out in that Upper Dublin Spring
Bluebell.
House, like on that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was beautiful up there.
yeah. Uh,
Big money up there.
it's gotten crazy. Yeah, it's hard to if you're a realtor and you're representing a buyer. It's so hard to get them a house because there's few houses on the
Yep.
market and everybody jumps on trying to get their client.
Yep.
It's hard.
And then
It's
it's
hard.
all over asking still, right?
Yep. Yep. No matter like how bad the economy is, it's
Yeah, listen, people, it's funny because I was just as busy when rates went up versus when they were low.
mhm,
Because at the end of the day, like a newly married couple, especially when it comes to the woman, if they want that dream home,
they
they
gotta
don't
do it.
care what the rate is. They want it. They don't care what the price is. Um, but I mean, yeah, when rates were low, Philly in general I couldn't keep up with it. There were so many leads, and I was shocked about like the values of some of these properties that these houses were selling for. And I'm like, is it really worth it in these areas?
Yeah.
But people are still flocking in from all over, and like we were briefly discussing, just driving here, there's so much new construction being built,
Mhm.
especially by the waterfronts, which I think is really cool. But my question is, who's moving here?
I mean, from what I get, it's not people that are already in Philly.
Nope. We're in South Jersey now.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's definitely New York, a lot of New York people, but I
Yeah,
don't know if there's enough New York people to fill some of these things. I don't know.
I know. Well, I mean, it makes sense for New York because
It's so expensive.
yeah, because it's cheaper for them to move
Yeah.
here, and the train station's right down the street, so they just hop on and get to work. And a lot of people actually probably work from home still, but it just sucks to like when you go to a game now. There's a lot of Knicks fans that show up to these Sixers
Hmm.
games and these other
The
games.
Mets and
Yeah, when I went to the Yankees game last year, there was a lot of fans, and just talking to some of them, they were like, "Yeah, we moved from Philly, we love it here. We're like, this is great. You guys have everything New York has." And then they were like, "Well, we have a house with a second floor, and we have our own parking space." They're like, "This." They're like, "We love it here." I'm like, "Where do you live?" And they'll say where they're from. I'm like, "Wow."
yeah, it's changing.
One investor told me a funny story. He will put a coffee shop in a neighborhood,
Okay.
like a really cool coffee shop, and then he would start seeing how that coffee shop did. Then he would start investing in the properties around that coffee shop, and that made him a very successful person. And I was like thinking about it, I was like, yeah, guess what? That kind of makes sense.
Coffee, like if you ever just go on social media, like
Yeah,
I feel like at 7 out of 10 posts you're gonna see
yeah,
are about coffee
yeah. And cheesesteaks.
and cheesesteaks. Coffee and cheesesteaks, and it's every single day to the point where I'm like, that's enough with the coffee,
I
but
know,
like it won't stop.
I know, I
Yeah, so
know.
he's probably smart.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
everywhere you go, there's a new coffee shop popping up, and I feel like today's world, we just love convenience.
Mm,
We don't want to make it. We'd rather just go buy it or get it delivered to us.
yeah.
I feel like everybody's just always too busy. to be able to do it. But I do enjoy, taking a nice walk to go to a coffee shop or a local bar or a food place to grab something to eat. I'm very big on helping local businesses out.
Yeah.
I think that's super important.
Yeah. What do you like? What do you like about Philadelphia since you've been here all your life?
There's so much to like. I feel like I won't be the person I am today if I didn't grow up from Philly. You definitely need to have that thick skin. I love being able to just pick up and walk to a game, Phillies game, be able to take my kids to the local playgrounds. Friends and family are all over within walking distance, which is super nice to have the convenience of it. Like I said, like my mother-in-law, they all grew up. I mean, we're literally 2 blocks from each of them.
Okay.
So their house is on Rittner Street and Waymansing, and we're right in between. So it's just the convenience of it, be able to walk wherever you want to go, go into a friend's house on a Friday night just to hang out. It's because when you hear people talk that are not from the city, they even get jealous. My buddy's like, "Oh, I can't go to the Phillies game. It's going to take me an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be stuck in the parking lot for another hour. By the time I get home, it's 11, 12 o'clock at night." And I'm like, that sucks for you because I'm already on my second dream by 12 o'clock.
Yeah, you're right there. Is there anything you don't like about Philadelphia?
The neighborhood's definitely changed. A lot of the neighborhoods.
Your neighborhood or just like all in general?
I could say my neighborhood, it's not the same how as I grew up. I could say that.
Okay.
I don't see the neighborhoods are just changing. A lot of people from the city that are leaving, and just growing up where I grew up, I had a playground like outside my house, and I just don't see like the kids doing what I did.
I think that's everywhere though. I don't know. Like
Probably.
I lived in the suburb most of my life. And I feel like it's like when I had kids in the suburbs, they just didn't do the same stuff that
there's so much going on. Kids are on their phones, kids are playing video games.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved it. My grandmother was a block from me growing up, so after school I would go to the park, and then I knew once 5 o'clock hit, it was dinner at my mom's house. So I ran home because she hated when I would be late.
Yeah.
Had a meal and then went right back out and played. It was great. I wouldn't change my life for anything because the way that I grew up was awesome.
Yeah. So if someone said, you have to get out of Philadelphia, where would you go?
Man. We have a shore house in Ventnor.
Okay.
And I love being down the shore.
Yeah.
Would I move down there all year round? Maybe. But I probably would go South Jersey.
Okay.
Just for the schools and for the houses. I mean, I joke with my wife all the time. I send her properties, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love that house, but we can never do it."
Yeah.
But growing up in the city, you have very limited space in your home. I would love to have a yard, and my own parking space would be nice. A little 2-car garage.
Yeah.
But we're city people.
So I told you, most of my life was in the suburbs, but then I moved to New York City for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And I loved the city. And then I moved to Philly, and I don't think I'd ever go back to a suburb.
Yeah.
It's just there's just not as much going on. And
of course.
I guess I'm used to liking a yard, but like now I don't want a yard.
Yeah.
It's like and then I'm seeing people now. So like I'm not seeing people from Philly so much move to other parts of Philly, but I am seeing people like in the suburbs that like now want to come back into Philly.
Yeah, I see that a lot too.
Yeah, all of a sudden. So I don't know. I think you go to the suburbs, you get sick of it, and then you come
back,
and then you want to. Yeah, it's like a circle.
Yeah, it's really all what you want. Philly is a lot of people I talk to that moved out, they do love all that stuff, like the convenience of having their own yard and parking, but it's a whole day just for them to go shopping. If I need something 10 o'clock at night, I can walk to a CVS and grab it, where they have to get in their car, drive 10, 15, 20 minutes away to grab whatever it is and come home. So
Yeah. So this was a huge. This has every time I ask us like become a popular post. Do you like water ice?
yes, I love water ice.
What's your favorite water ice place in Philly?
It's actually closed. It used to be Italiano's,
Okay.
which was on 11th and Chunk.
I think that's the place. My dad, he lived in South Philly for years, and he
Yeah.
used to take us to the water. I know it was on Shunk. Was
Yeah.
there any others on Shunk? It was probably that one.
Probably that one.
Yeah.
And they had the best iced tea water ice ever.
Okay.
And the local corner one that I go to now is Pops, but I did Pops and Italiano's growing up, both of them.
Okay.
John's was just too far of a drive for me.
Got it. How about so then the other one that
Oh no.
other than coffee is
Oh,
cheesesteak.
no.
What's your favorite cheesesteak place?
You know what? It's funny you say that because I just had Skinny Joe's for the first
Okay.
time, and it was really good.
Okay.
I can't put any in specific order, but Angelo's is really good. Del Rossi's, John's was usually my go-to before these other spots. Skinny's is good. What I liked about Skinny's was after I ate it, I didn't feel like I had to like lay on the couch for the
Oh,
whole
I
day.
like that. I should probably go there.
Yeah, I'm
Because
still a
I
little bit
love
hungry.
them, but like I just can't do anything for 2 days.
Yes.
So that would be good.
But then Phillips and Oregon Steaks are two local ones that I, grew up eating as well. So, and then the Backyard Cravings one I heard is really good, but it's very hard to
To
get
get one.
to get one.
And now I keep seeing on the news flipping out about Angelo's because it's like causing too much chaos. And
The cheesesteak game is crazy. It's crazier than a real estate market, but it's awesome. It's, you're getting people to go out and try different cheesesteaks, and now people are doing it for a living where they're reviewing.
Mhm.
That's another big thing. Everyone's eating food and reviewing it, which I think is cool because they're giving good reviews and people are going to these establishments and trying it. It's funny because I have a cousin who a few years ago opened up an ice cream place on 4th and Bainbridge.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, he had to recently close it because of tenant issues, but now he's reopening in a different location.
Okay.
And his ice cream place blew up. People from New York were driving down just to get ice cream and a cheesesteak and driving back home for my cousin's ice cream.
What was the name?
It was called Cuzzy's.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
never went there, but
He's
people were telling me to go there.
Really?
Yeah. So he's reopening somewhere else.
Yeah, he's reopening not too far from where he was previously, but it's so crazy how social media, one person can post something about it and someone tries it out and posts, and then the next thing you know, you have a line around the corner for ice cream.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that there was people that, talking about coffee, like coffee addicts, I didn't know people ate ice cream all year around at a high volume. I saw a guy in there, he had a milk carton of pints of ice cream, and apparently he ate a pint of ice cream a day. Crazy.
Yeah, but there's a place near me. I live in Northern Liberty's, but in Fishtown called Liberty Kitchen,
Okay.
and it's been there, and like somebody told me to go there. It's really good, but I never had gotten there. And then all of a sudden, someone posted some sandwich that they make on
Yeah.
social media, and next thing you know, like it was sold out all the time.
Yeah.
There was like lines around the corner, and ever since they've just been like busy just because of like one social media post.
It's crazy. And
Yeah.
Philly is becoming a really big foodie spot. Um, I need to start expanding my horizons and going to like Fishtown restaurants and Northern Liberties. I've been to a couple of them, but I definitely feel like I need to start getting to more.
Mhm.
I kind of stay local when it comes to like the food part of it, but there's so many good restaurants. Every week something pops up and people are raving about this pasta dish or something that they do special. Me with having 3 kids, it's hard to get out, and when I do,
Yeah.
I kind of like to stay local, just grab a quick bite and get home. But it's cool to see. Like I
Yeah.
said, like it's really cool to see how Pashong blew up
Mhm.
and Northern Liberties and all these areas are just blowing up, and then the real estate's blowing up, and then the next thing you know, these famous chefs are starting to open up spots, in the Philly area.
Do you have like a favorite restaurant in your neighborhood that you go to a lot?
I mean, if there's a local like dive bar spot, I love to go to the Palladium.
Okay.
I think the food's really good there. Never had a bad meal in there. I love going to Dolce at the W Hotel. Tequila's just reopened up, which I loved, so I was
Uh-huh.
happy to see them. Tallulah Gardens is never got a bad meal there. Oh man, the list goes on and on.
There's a lot.
There's so much, and it's funny because
You could go.
people are like, "Have you ever tried this place?" I never
Never
heard of
heard
it.
of it. I know. It's like every week you could pick someone
Yeah,
new and
it's a
never run
hob if you
out.
can ever get in is a nice spot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. How about your kids? Do they have like a specific place? Like, or
My
they'll
kids
eat
just love
anything?
pizza, pizza and pasta.
Do you have a favorite pizza place?
Um, Locally, I order from Celebrys a lot.
Okay, I've
Celebrys
been there.
Pizza.
Yeah,
I order from Steak 'em Up. My kids like Steak 'em Up's
never had
pizza.
that. Yeah.
So we pizza local, but I had Angelo's, which was good. Pizza Shack and Maxon I actually had, which is really good. I kind of follow Dave Portnoy,
Where he
wherever
goes, you
he.
try it out.
Yep.
Tell Rossi's is like right, like down the street from me. I walk by it all.
Oh
I walk my
man,
dog and I walk by it all the time, and it smells so good. And I'm like, I still haven't been there.
I
I have
know.
to
I
try it.
haven't had their pizza, but I did order their cheesesteak late night one night on Uber Eats, and I didn't realize how far it
It's
was.
yeah.
I was like, man, this Uber driver, he's probably mad at me. But their cheesesteak was really good.
What was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta try it out. It's right there. I have like no excuse. And there's not like anytime I've been there, there hasn't been like a line. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. Um, so if someone wants to like reach out to you, like say someone wants to buy a property, they've
Yep.
never done this before. What's
Yep.
like the first step?
First step is which is super important, besides opening up an LLC, is to build a team around you.
Okay.
I can't preach that enough when it comes to real estate investing. Get you a contractor who knows what they're doing, who's fast and efficient. Make sure you have a good insurance agent. Make sure you have a good realtor. Making sure they're running solid comps for you in the area, and obviously a good lender.
Yeah.
But all those things you need to be successful. And if you build a good team like that, interest rates, terms, fees, all that stuff doesn't matter because you're going to profit with a good team behind you. I think one of my biggest clients, he says the day I close on a property, I have my demo team in that house. I don't care what time I close, 9 in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock at night. The clock's ticking the day that I sign those papers, and the name of the game is to get in and out. And you see it too in Philadelphia. It could be hard selling property still.
Mm-hmm.
So they make sure that these projects are getting done, especially with dealing with L&I, which could be a hassle at sometimes. And then having a good realtor to sell the property. I mean, it's a team effort.
Do you ever really know, not as you, as an
Yeah.
investor, do you ever really know whether you have a good contractor? Because like the stories I hear as a realtor, I hired this contractor, he disappeared.
Yep.
He had
It's
20 other
scary.
jobs. And they all tell me they sounded great when they met them. Is there any like
I think the
tip?
problem is these legit contractors it's either they're super busy or some people think that they're on the expensive side.
Okay.
But I think you have to go with one who may be on the expensive side, but that they're going to get it done.
It's worth it.
Because
Yeah.
if you get a cheap contractor, they could play around with you and take them 6-7 months to finish the job. Where a good contractor, yeah, you might be paying a little bit more up front, but that they're going to get the job done, and at the end of the day, it's going to even out, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now, if people need a contractor, I'm giving them someone who I 1000% know that's going to get the job done.
Okay.
Because that's, like you said, that could kill somebody when it
Yeah.
comes to, especially if they're an investor for a first time and they don't know who to go to. And for me, that's where I like to step in and like to be looked at as not just a lender, just a strategic partner. Like, let me help guide you. Let me give you the right names of the people who worked with us in the past to help you get this property, get it renovated, and get it sold.
Would you say there's like a average number of profit that like say like a typical Philly row home.
Hmm.
What's like the expected like profit off of a
See,
or the range that people seem to make?
yeah, that's hard for me to say to
Yeah,
because I don't really know what fully came out of pocket, like what their
yeah.
net profit would be. But I know they're doing well. I
Okay.
mean, there's some investors that do really well. It all depends on kind of how they handle their back end. I'm only going by off what they purchased the property for and
And the renovations.
what their renovation budget is. Obviously, that renovation budget things pop up, right? They can open up a wall and see something different, so they might do a little bit more out of pocket, or they might have a, let's say, a $60,000 renovation budget, but they only actually use $40,000, or they were projected to flip it in 3 months, but it took them 5 months. So it's very hard for me to give like an accurate answer, but all I know is when they're done flipping it, they do well and they're ready to find the next
So
project.
pretty much everybody's at least
Yeah,
making money
I
off
hope
it.
so.
Yeah. If they didn't, something went bad.
And that's kind of where I like to go the extra mile and tell an investor, because I'll do my due diligence too,
Yeah.
and I'll say, hey, within the last 6 months, what you have and what you're building, let's just say it's going from a 2 bed to a 3 bed, this is what properties are selling for, right? And like, are you okay with it? Because this is where it's going to be. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
numbers game at the end of the day. And some people appreciate that, like me doing that, because I can write any loan. I can write a loan, any loan that I want to, but if they're not going to be profitable, then they're not coming back to me.
Right.
And for me, I think I rather have the long-term relationship versus just having a one-off investor.
Got it. And so you're saying to be a hard money lender, you don't need to like go to school or it's
Nope.
okay.
I didn't know anything about real estate. But it's just something, like I said, I was very, very jealous of seeing how people were living their life, because that's what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to be able to just pick up and go to a Phillies Day game. I wanted to be able to bring my laptop and travel to another city or country and work and then go out and enjoy myself. And when I had that 9 to 5 lifestyle, I couldn't do it, you know, and
Yeah.
I hated it. So I needed to change. I wanted to be able to bet on myself and start something for myself. Because if I failed it, then I was the only person to blame. And it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made.
How about if someone came to you, say they're in Philly and they say, I
Mm.
want to invest in a property, where would be a place you suggest me invest in?
Depending on their vision, if they
Mhm.
want to keep these properties as a rental,
Mhm.
I would kind of guide them more in areas where there's more renters. But for flips, I still think South Philly is a great area to buy a property.
Okay.
19145, 19146. People are still, and like I just previously said, people who live here, they don't want to move far.
Yeah.
So there's still younger couples that are still getting married. Obviously, got to get out of their mom's basement, but they're looking to buy properties in the areas that they grew up in. That's what I think is keeping South Philly South Philly. That's the people who still want to be able to do that.
Yeah. Is there any like states or cities where you've heard
Yeah.
that it's not a good place to invest right now? Like for example, New York City. I don't know if that would be like,
Yeah, I don't do too much in,
yeah.
in New York. I've done one deal in Long Island.
Okay.
But right now, Florida is becoming a little bit of an issue in certain
Okay.
areas, especially some parts around the water.
Okay. Because of
Um,
insurance or not?
it goes insurance and the hurricane that they just had. So I know some investors are shying away from there. Other areas, I can't think of anything off the top of
Yeah.
my head, but I knew I just been hearing some riffraff about Florida.
Okay. I'm assuming California, where the
Yeah,
fires are every year, like probably.
I haven't done too much in the West Coast. That's like a goal of mine for this
Yeah.
next year, is to start doing some more business out at West Coast, either California, Arizona. I mean, there's some big real estate going on out there.
So you could pretty much wake up every morning and go anywhere you want.
Yeah,
Like find someone.
yeah,
That's nice.
yeah. It's cool, and what I love most about what I do is I love seeing the end result. I love being able to give money to an investor to it's art. at the end of the day, like every investor has their own unique thing that they do to these houses, which is super cool. And what makes it even sweeter is I can drive around in these neighborhoods that I do deals with and see like a happy married couple with a kid come out of that house and knowing that,
You
I
were
helped
part of
that
it.
out.
So could you like say 25 years from now you don't want to work anymore?
Yeah.
Could you move anywhere and still do this?
Yeah.
You don't actually have to be.
No, I just need a
That's kind
laptop.
of nice too.
Yep. Like me, and it's funny because every time I go away on vacation, I feel like I get busy for that week.
That always happens. That
It's
happens
the
to me,
worst.
yeah.
Like every year we go to Cabo because we have a timeshare with me and my wife, and we take the kids and my parents, and it's a 3-hour time difference there, so which is kind of nice because I can get up early.
Yeah.
But
The
I
phone
feel
just
like,
starts ringing.
yeah, oh my God, I just want to relax for a week. But I signed up for that.
Yeah.
So I can't, and thank God, like I have my wife, she's amazing. She supports me with 100%. So she understands that I don't have, paid time off or vacation
You're
time.
gonna have to get the phone and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, that's something that I signed up for, and that's something that it's a good thing. It's a good problem to have, I would say.
Yeah. And you also have a lot of freedom in other times, like when you're home that
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I work when investors need me to work. If I need to pick up a phone on a Saturday or Sunday or run some numbers with somebody, I'm going to do it because that might be the reason why I get that investor. Like if an investor is like, hey, my old hard money lender, this is what I didn't like about them, and it could be just a customer service thing. They might have a cheap rate, cheap points, but when that investor needs them, they may not pick up the phone. So I'm not your 9 to 5 person. I had an investor who owned nightclubs. He would call me 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Hey, you free? I mean, I
You gotta
guess.
be.
Yeah. But that's, like I said, that's what I sign up for, and I love it.
Yeah. I get people that call me like 11:30 at night and don't even think there's anything weird about
Yeah.
it. Could you do it in other countries, or it has to be limited
No,
to?
that would be
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. Because I've been like traveling a lot, and it's crazy some of the stuff that's gone. Like
Puerto Rico.
so many Americans are moving to different countries and
a lot moving to Puerto
buying
Rico,
property.
DR.
And they don't like do traditional mortgages, so they either need cash or like a private
Yep.
type thing. But they're making a lot of money.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that was the convenience of, both families were working from home.
Yeah.
Kids are homeschooled. They, it would be cool to do that, but I don't think we would survive.
Yeah.
My wife would not be like that.
Yeah. Where did you meet your wife? In the neighborhood or?
Yeah, so we grew up in the same neighborhood. We always knew each other. I was actually friends with her brother growing up, and we happened to just link up one night.
Back like way back or like later in life?
I was 23, she was
Okay.
26. So yeah, it was she
Yeah.
she was starting her pharmacy career, and I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, just getting out of college for a couple years. So I was kind of doing job to job.
What's pharmacy career entail? Is it like college plus something else after that?
Yeah, so she had to get her doctorate degree. So she went to Temple for that. She worked for Walmart for I think over 10 years. And then when she was pregnant with our third kid, she just couldn't do the hours for retail anymore. So now she's at the VA rate in University City. So she's 6 to 2 Monday through Friday.
6 a.m. to 2 p.m. At least she's done early.
Oh yeah. It's nice.
Yeah.
Just in time for the kids to get home from school. She loves it.
Perfect. I don't know. I think I asked you everything I wanted to ask you, but if there's anything else you want to say, if not, tell everyone like how they can get a hold of you if they.
Yeah, you can reach out to me via email. It's al@kingsofcapital.com. My Instagram is al_at kingsofcapital.com. And can I just post my like phone number and everything on the?
Yeah, I can add it to.
Perfect.
Whatever.
Yeah. Looking forward to doing business with anybody who reaches out, and I definitely appreciate you taking the time to meet me, and I'm excited that I was able to get this done for you.
Yeah, and like I feel like I've been following him for years on social media, and we met at the Eagles parade,
Yeah,
like the day of the Eagles parade. So it was
that
kind
was
of
funny.
nice. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Yes, I
And,
appreciate the
I learned
time.
a lot.
Yep,
Look forward to speaking to you soon.
yep. Go Birds.
Yep.
Need another Super Bowl.